Almost there. Hi, everyone. It's Asha again here with the Powerhouse 2014 Summit, and I have my super friend Karen Curry, who just got married. And I made do you have a different last name now?
Well, technically I'll be Karen Parker, but professionally we'll just stay with Karen Curry for now.
Okay. Okay. So Karen Curry is here with us, as you saw, and I'm super excited to have her. She has been an incredible powerhouse for me, a real anchor throughout my parenting process and moving into my own authenticity. So I am just super delighted to have her here and have you get to know her more and the powerful work that she's doing. And we have a good time together, so that's always good, right?
That's right. We could just skip the interview and just talk about whatever. So,
Which we might. No, we're no, we're I want to share human design with you, or I want Karen to share human design with you because I have seen how, well, even for myself, in terms of, as I was talking to you about in my parenting process, it's helped me a lot to be able to understand my children and to be able to understand myself and in relationship to my partnership too, and how the two of us interact and what the strategies are that we can use together to create the kind of life that we are intending and committed to creating. And I mean, for me, it's always like my kids are always the reason why I'm drawn to something. I studied feng shui because I wanted it for my children, and then and seminary school, same thing. It's like everything that I'm they're definitely my guiding, and Karen's been there pretty much from the beginning, right?
yeah, yeah, I always think, yeah, exactly. I think if we didn't have kids, I mean, I would be like a lump of coal. So,
A happy lump of coal, I'm sure.
I don't know. So,
Well, anyway, so in terms of introduction about Karen, I mean, I don't know what else to say besides the fact that she's an incredible woman and now #1 best-selling author for her incredible book. Um, and I want her well, first of all, I know that people, when your book came out, people were so excited. I saw it all over Facebook. Finally, there's a book. So tell people what this human design thing is about, because most people, maybe that it's the first time hearing about it or they want to learn more about it. But if you could tell us a little about what's it all about, it'd be awesome.
yeah, I'll keep it simple because I think one of the things that we always run into with human design is because it's a relatively new system, a lot of people don't know what it is. But if you want to get down to the technical pieces of it, human design is a synthesis of Eastern and Western astrology, the Chinese I Ching, the chakra system, Kabbalah, and quantum physics. What it does, which I think is really unique and I think very powerful in the context of what you're talking about, is it's not like astrology, it's not like any of the pieces that it's comprised of, and that it's not a predictive tool. You don't look, you take your birth data, you plug it into a computer program, you get a chart, just like with astrology. But from that point on, that's really where it's quite different. You don't look at a human design chart and go, okay, next year your dog's going to get, have a problem, or your parents are going to have problems. It's not a predictive tool. It's actually a map for how you process energy. So it shows you where are your strengths, it shows you what are you here to put out into the world, it shows you what do you receive from the world, and because it's got so much detail in it in terms of how you're hardwired and how you interact with the world around you and the people around you, it really also shows you where you could potentially be stuck, it shows you where your gifts and strengths are, and most importantly, it gives you a very clear decision-making strategy that's unique to you. And this to me is really the crux of it and why it's so important. We have, thank God for the last like 15 years, maybe not that long, but it feels like that long, we've been talking about things like deliberate creation and manifesting. Not that these are new concepts, but they've gained a lot of momentum in the last 10, 15 years. We've talked about manifesting. We've talked about creating. We've talked about, being in your power. We've talked about, aligning with source, all these buzzwords that we have. And what I find with people is that there are some people who, for the most part, have a modicum of success, and there are some people who have a lot of success, and they're usually up on stage telling you, yeah, you can do it. But for most of us, we try it, we try it, and we have, a little bit of success, but it doesn't really fulfill the promises that a lot of us are being given by all of this information. And the thing is, it's not that the law of attraction doesn't work. It's not that manifesting doesn't work, because it does. But each and every one of us has sort of our own unique way to plug into those laws of the universe. I will say a one-size-fits-all approach to living, here's the formula for success, A plus B equals C. That doesn't work. There are 7 billion plus people on the planet, and I think there are 7 billion plus pathways to being successful, being abundant, being authentic. And what I love so much about human design is it really shows you how you can go about creating that for yourself in the way that's just right and perfect for you. And that's really the key, and that's always what gets me all turned on and excited, because most of us don't have an instruction manual. So this is sort of like this little instruction manual that goes, okay, here's what you, Karen, or you, Asha, or you, whoever, here's what you personally need to do to make it work for you.
And what do you see? I mean, how exact is it, and what do you hear people say about it in their lives, and how their lives change because they use the system to kind of put strategies in place that are unique to them?
Well, that's a really good question, and I love that question. Nobody's ever asked me that question before. So let me give you a little bit of a background. I'm a nurse by training. I love logic. I love research. And when I first started using human design 14 years ago, I was really using it kind of on the hush-hush. I was using it with my life coaching clients. I didn't want anybody to know I was running their astrology stuff, but I started to really look at their human design chart in conjunction with, the coaching that I was giving them. And when I could see what was in the human design chart, it really made me an awesome coach, much to the sadness of my business, because I started spitting coaching clients out much faster and much more effectively. But eventually I really felt confident enough after experimenting with it on the side for a while that it was really a good and powerful tool. What I have found in the meantime, after doing over 6,000 readings, is that hands down people say to me, oh my God, you see me. You see who I am in a way that no one has ever seen me before. Now, it's not me that's seeing them, but the chart tells the story of each and every person, and people are shocked. Even people, a couple of them.
Oh, we're losing a little bit of your sound, Karen. Karen, are you there? Uh-oh, we seem to have lost her. For just a second, so hang in there. It is live, so it will have its fun moments. There she is. So we lost you for a little bit of time, by the way. So can you rewind a little bit?
Yeah, sorry.
Uh-oh.
Hold on, I'm not getting everything that you're saying. Hang on just a second. Okay, is that better now? Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Good. So what I said was, I think before I disappeared, was that I have actually really kind of knocked a lot of their friends and their girlfriends and boyfriends sort of to their knees, because they all want to see their chart, and then I start reading their chart, and then they're almost like they've been sort of stripped naked at the dinner table because I've read their chart for them. So I've learned now to kind of keep it back. But it's really accurate. It's shockingly accurate. And really, I think part of why I love it is I show people a chart. And I think most people over the course of a lifetime, whether for whatever reason, they received message after message that it's not okay for you to be who you are. You have to be a certain way to be successful. You have to be a certain way to present yourself in the world. You have to be a certain way to be accepted in your family. And we sort of all get these messages eventually that sort of say, you're not okay. It's not okay to really be who you are. And when people sit down with a chart, a lot of times my clients especially, they've kind of forgotten how beautiful and how magnificent they are. And I whip out this little piece of paper and I can show them on this paper, look, this is who you are and you're amazing. And let me tell you, I've done a lot of readings and I have never yet to meet someone who is not absolutely freaking amazing. And so, you know, they get this opportunity to have this sort of chart. It's not even a person, really. I'm just translating it. This chart that says, look, you're beautiful. Just remember that. Take that home with you. Everything that you secretly hope is true about yourself is true. You really are powerful. You really are beautiful. You really are magnificent. You really are smart. You really do have a life purpose. And, you know, get at it. Let's go. Come on.
Yeah, you know, I just have in the back of my mind when you said that in your coaching business you were not retaining clients. Is it because you were providing this information? They were like, aha, this is who I am, and now I know how to do everything.
Well, I was working with people in 3-month contracts, and we were getting done in a month because what I could do with the chart was just go straight to the heart of the matter, and you know, everything just started to click really quickly, and so there wasn't really any need for us to hang around for the extra time, except, so, you know. Yeah.
So so give me an example of somebody, I mean, without naming any names, like somebody who came to you. Oh, and by the way, somebody says congratulations on your wedding. And oh, they're just commenting about the sound, that you might want to get closer to the microphone. But if all sound is good, we'll keep going. But yeah, so give me an example of someone, you know, someone came to you and said, okay, I want to work with you for 3 months, and this is what I want to accomplish, and then what happened after the month, and you know, what did the chart say to them?
I'll actually give you one of my favorite stories. I had an engineer who came to me, and he was really struggling in his job. He had been put in project management, and he was struggling. He hated it. He wasn't doing a good job with it. He was actually, you know, on the verge of being demoted and really in big trouble at work. And he said, you know, you got to help me. I can't get my mojo going here. So I said, all right, let's look at the chart. So we looked at the chart, and what the chart really pulled out and kind of brought forward is that he has an energy that's really, really all about starting things, not so much about managing things. So when we really looked at what he was all about and what he loved to do, I said, you know, you need to go back and tell these people project management is the worst place to put you. It's not your strength. You know, so let's ask them if they can change you over to project startup, which is where you belong and it's what you would love. So he actually asked if he could be moved. Fortunately, they had a position open and they moved him. Within just a few months, you know, he skyrocketed it. In fact, within a year, he had been promoted several times and was actually moved overseas to be part of a really big project up in Finland. So, Norway. So, you know, it was just all a matter of shifting his skill set and putting him where he really was comfortable and where he was kind of where his energy was aligned to where he was aligned to work. And, you know, to watch him really embrace that instead of beat himself up because why can't I get things going? And so many times there's something wrong with us. You know, we're stuck. We don't have motivation. You know, we're trying to do something and we can't. You know, people tell me all the time, you know, I make a decision and then 2 days later I can't follow through on it. You know, it's New Year's. How many times do we do that at New Year's, right? And a lot of times it's because we're really trying to do something that's not right for us, or it's something that we really don't want. You know, we think we want it, or we think we should be wanting it, or we've been told this is what you need to do to be successful, but it's not really the truth of who we are. And when you look at the chart, you know, you can, somebody especially translating that chart for you, you're getting a reading, somebody's going to really be able to tease out for you what's truth for you. And when you're aligned with that authentic place, you know, you don't have motivation issues. You wake up with fire in your belly and you are ready to go because you're aligned with your truth. And if you can get, you know, whatever system you use, I tell people, I don't care what you use. You can use numerology or Enneagram or, you know, stand on your head and sniff paprika. I don't care. but be real, you know, with yourself. Get real with yourself and be the fullest expression of yourself as yourself, because when you find that sweet spot, nothing will stop you. Because, you know, nothing is designed to be less than what we really are. So
yeah, I mean, and this is what this whole week is about, right? Tapping into who am I and all these different ways in which we can do that. And I want you to talk about the different the different designs. But before you do that, I just want to give a little example of, you know, a shift that, I mean, I have to say I fight with this shift all the time because maybe, I think, I don't know if it's that I'm programmed to, you know, be like, go, 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 do, like, be more in the, like, forward movement. Or I don't know what that is, but anyway, one of my strategies for the design that I am, and we'll go over, or Karen will go over all the different designs, so that you can know who and which one you are. One of my strategies is to sort of set an intention for what I want, and then wait for the universe to kind of respond to it so that I can respond to it. That's a really hard one for me, and I don't know what that is. But what I do find, what I do find is that when I have the patience and I have the knowing that, in fact, the universe will respond to this, and I will know what the answer is, and I will know the next step, things definitely have a certain flow about it. And sometimes, maybe for somebody like me, you know, interacting with a coach like you is helpful, because I know that when I have conversations with you, it gives me an opportunity to respond based on what you say. So just I just wanted to give a little example of how strategy can really help in having a little bit more flow in life. So do you want to tell us a little about the different designs?
Sure. In the design system, just to let you know, it's a pretty complex system, but it's sublimely simple. So what I'm going to hit on today is really the highlights of the simplicity of the system. And basically, you know, if you're going to distill it down to the bottom line of what do I need to walk away with today with my understanding of human design, in human design there are 5 basic energy types. Each of those energy types has a different style for making decisions. So the first energy type is called a manifestor. Manifestors are approximately 8% of the population. They are the only type, and you'll appreciate this hopefully, Asha, they are actually the only type who is designed to just go out and make it happen. They are the just do it people. And so, you know, they have a decision-making strategy that's about making a decision and then just going and making it happen. Now, I just want to let you guys know that for most of us, we think that's really cool, and that would be awesome if we were all manifestors. Let me just gently say to you that if you are a manifestor, one of the things that's kind of challenging is you don't always get feedback from the universe about what's right or what's not right. So your creative style a lot of times is kind of like, I call it spaghetti throwing. It's like you have to just sort of throw it and see what sticks, and then follow whatever is sticking. So that's the first energy type. One of the other challenges with that particular energy type is that they do not have sustainable working energy, meaning they're kind of like the billiard ball on the table. They're the ones that sort of hit all the other balls and get them rolling, but ultimately they're sort of here to start, but not here to sustain and not here to maintain. They're kind of here to get it going and then get out. So they make oftentimes great entrepreneurs. You know, George W. Bush was a manifestor. I'm not going to get political about it, but sometimes they have challenges. Manifestors will have challenges with informing people about what they're doing, because, you know, the thing about a manifestor is they're a very pure creative force. So they go out into the world and they have sort of this inarticulate creative process that they're engaged in. They go out, they see something, they're making it happen. Oftentimes other people get angry with them if they don't understand what the manifestor is doing, because the manifestor is in this creative flow. The worst thing you can ever do if you have a manifestor in your life, you don't have manifestors, do you? I don't think you do.
I think, isn't Glenn a manifestor?
Glenn's a generator.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. So when you are a manifestor, you know, there's an emotional theme in your life of anger, because people are always trying to either stop you from doing what you're doing, or they're asking you what ironically is the most difficult question they could ever ask you, which is, do you need help? And if you're a manifestor and somebody's trying to help you, you have to stop your creative flow, find the words that you're looking for, translate that creative flow into words, explain to the person what it is that you need them to do, and in the time that it's taken you to do that, you could have just as well gotten it done faster. And even if somebody else does help you, you probably could have done it faster anyway. So with the manifester, there's that going out, making it happen, that need for speed, and then that need for retreat once you've started it, because the sustainability piece is not always there. The second type is called a generator. Generators are approximately 35% of the population. Now, a generator has one really big important path in life, and that is to find their right work. You know, and the truth is, most of us as generators are not doing our right work, which is why I think a lot of us are sort of living a life of either quiet desperation or at least burning out to a certain degree. So when the generator finds their right work, they wake up this powerful life force energy. So, you know, for those of you who are generators who perhaps have found your right work, you know that when you find your right work, you're on fire. You don't want to go to bed. You don't want the weekend to come because you love what you're doing and you don't want to stop. So the generator, though, has a different, this is a very different decision-making strategy than most of us are conditioned with. Most of us are taught to be successful in life, you got to go out and make it happen. You know, you got to be on the ball, get out there, manifest your destiny. And what we know with the generator is that that doesn't really work. If you're a generator and you've tried to go out and push and make it happen, what you may have experienced is things don't work out quite the way you thought they would. Maybe you had an idea or a manifestation you had in mind, but it didn't really quite make it, or things, you know, you're frustrated and nothing's really working the way you thought it would. For the generator to make good and powerful decisions, you have to wait for things to show up. And I think this is part of your strategy too, right, Asha? Are you a generator or a manifesting generator?
Manifesting.
Do you remember?
Manifesting generator.
Asha?
Did you hear me?
That's what I thought. So,
oh wait, can I stop you for a second? You have
that's what I was guessing.
You have two people here on the chat saying, well, Yvonne's saying, I love human design, especially when Karen explains it. Kudos to you. And then Cindy says, Karen does have a great way of explaining of how to understand. I'm a generator and I'm still looking at my right work. So what would be a strategy that she can use to find her right work?
Well, this is the part that's really ironic because, you know, we want to go out and make it happen. What should we do? And the truth is, what you really need to do is to hold the intention and wait and see what shows up and follow. You know, I always think it's like Hansel and Gretel. You know, follow the breadcrumbs down the path and see what shows up. But it's so counterintuitive because our fear is, oh, if we don't go do something, you know, nothing's going to happen and we're just going to be sitting on the couch eating bonbons for the rest of our days. And the truth is, it never works that way for a generator. If you're a generator, something always shows up. You know, the universe doesn't want you to sit inactive and bored. The universe wants you to do what you came here to do. The universe knows you're a builder. The universe knows you're a worker. And they're going to find for you the right work. But you have to stop moving long enough for them to find you. And that's really sometimes part of the problem. We're so busy trying and making it happen that we miss the cues because we're not being still enough to trust that the universe will deliver to us what's really important. And let me tell you, you know, I'm in the process of looking at the planetary for the year. And this is definitely a year where we're going to be tested in our faith and our trust in Source. And if you're a generator and you're not in your right work, this is the year to say, okay, you know what? I let go. I am just going to completely let go and let Source be my fulfillment. And that is a scary place to be sometimes, especially if things are not working out the way you thought they would, or the money's starting to run out, or whatever. You know, being a generator and being the third type, which is called a manifesting generator, requires a large degree of faith. You really have to practice trusting the universe and letting things show up.
So I would say, quick question.
Yeah.
So you mentioned about stillness, right? Quieting. Is that a generator strategy, or is that just for all of us?
I think it's a human strategy.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah, I mean, everybody has, I mean, Karen's opinion, you know, the world works better when you're connected to Source every day and you remember, oh yeah, this is what it's really all about. So otherwise we get, you know, we can easily get caught up into the dream. So definitely I would say wait and see what happens. And in the meantime, I mean, it's not like you're totally twiddling your thumbs. In the meantime, dream about what you want, read about what you want, investigate what you want, you know, go through and feel, you know, within your own self what would feel exciting, and then let it go. And I encourage people to let it go, because truth be told, divine mind, and you know, I'm going to talk spiritual stuff here for just a second, but divine mind is so much bigger than our brains. You know, and when you can really just go, okay, I trust the universe to show me what the right direction is, and you can let it go and stay in that place of trust, what shows up might be completely different than what you thought it would be. I mean, I always look at my new marriage as an example. You know, I had my list of all the requirements for my soulmate, and let me tell you that the guy that I married is amazing and probably doesn't fill very many criteria on that list, but man, I've been with guys who filled those criteria on that list, and they were boring, okay? And the universe knew much better what I needed, and look at what I got, you know? So
that's awesome. You deserve it.
So there is, and this I'm kind of joking about that because it's relevant right now in my life, but I will say that the possibility of miracles increases exponentially when you let go of your expectation of what you think it should look like. And if you're a generator or a manifesting generator, or you know, a projector or a reflector, which are the other types we haven't talked about yet, you know, if you can stay in that space of going, you know, my miracle is coming, and just take all the guided actions necessary and see what shows up. And when the good thing shows up, when the thing that shows up that lights your fire, take it, go for it, and don't worry about whether it's logical. Just go for it. So
yeah, you know, yesterday we were talking about vibration, right? And that sense of wanting to encapsulate what our purpose is. It's a lower vibration, right? Rather than having the stillness. And I mean, almost somebody is saying in the chat room, patience is one of the virtues that I'm working on. One of the values that I've always been connected is peace that passes understanding. And I think, you know, patience, it's almost like if you kind of track the vibration of all these words, right, like trying to find your life purpose, having patience, it's still not quite. And I think what this person's saying is that, well, when you can sort of become maybe an accepting of what your design is, and more of that state of peace is when you can allow and really be in that receptive mode to have things come into your life without putting so much pressure on yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, you know, recognizing that, you know, what I love about design is your life force energy doesn't come from your head. You know, yeah. It comes from here. You can't see because my screen is too low, but you know, it's your solar plexus. It's like in the belly of who you are. It's your gut, you know. And when you're like trying to direct your life with this head, you know, it doesn't get you very far. You know, you're being bombarded by ideas constantly. I mean, my God, just open up your email inbox. You know, how much stuff is in there every day, at least, you know, in mine. It's like I got to sort through all this stuff and figure out what do I want to do. And if I'm going with my head, you know, it doesn't take long before my head's doing this. You know, you've got to drop down into that heart space, that gut space, and go, what feels right? What feels good? Doesn't mean the head doesn't have a purpose. It has a function. You know, this is the part that translates the divine inspiration into action. But you have to start first with the divine inspiration. You can't just go try to figure it out with your brain. It doesn't work that way. So.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people have been in suffering, really, trying to figure it out and making themselves crazy over it, really.
Yeah.
So what are the other designs?
The other type is called the manifesting generator. That's you and me. The manifesting generator is also here to find the right work. They are just like a generator in that they also have to wait to respond, meaning they have to let the universe show them what's the next step. But they have with it some of that manifesting quality like the manifester. So there is a part of the manifesting generator that has the ability to initiate, not a lot, okay? Don't get too excited about the initiation piece. You can initiate conversations. Like if you go to the grocery store, you can start talking to people, okay? But you're not here to go out and make things happen with your actions unless you are given a sign or something else to respond to. The other thing about the manifesting generator, which makes them a little bit different, is of all the types, and you'll appreciate this, Asha, they are the fastest. They tend to jump into things full force. I mean, look, we had this conversation about a video summit, what, beginning of December? And here we are. And you know, I'm like, okay, there she goes, zoom. You will be a little bit faster on the front end. Now, before you get all excited, like I am the fastest, be aware that a lot of times what also happens is if you're a manifesting generator, you know, you will also skip steps, and you will find that some of the time that you spend zooming around, you also have to spend going back and fixing the steps you skipped, no matter how hard you try to not do it.
Guilty.
But again, the key for the manifesting generator truly is waiting. Waiting, yeah, and waiting for the right timing, and waiting for the universe to agree. And I've just stopped here and share this story because this is a story from my world, but it's such a good example of why this is important and how this works. You know, the universe has its own sense of timing, even though for us it's never nearly fast enough, right? When I first learned human design, I taught a human design workshop. It was my idea, my beautiful idea. I taught this workshop in this beautiful room. I did all these press releases, put about nice flyers, showed up to teach my workshop, and guess how many people showed up? 0. It was me in the room, okay? So I thought, okay, wait, I didn't wait for any sign. I didn't let the universe show me this was right. I just did this out of my head. So about 3 weeks later, a friend of mine said, this human design stuff is so cool. You should teach a workshop about it. Ding! I got a sign, right? So I went back. I literally rented the same room. I used the same flyers but changed the date, changed the press releases. I did everything exactly the same. I had 32 people in the room. Okay?
That's crazy.
The only difference was the timing was right, and I let the universe tell me when the timing was right and what I needed to do rather than the other way around. So there's a real beautiful co-creation between, you know, you, your intention, and the universe. And that's really true for both the manifesting generator and the generator. The fourth type is called the projector. And a projector is, you know, we could talk about projectors for several hours. Projectors are approximately 20% of the population. They have a life purpose that is about managing, guiding, and directing other people. They know stuff. You know, they are really innately designed to, you know, I like to call them the sheepdogs. It's like they're here to herd the humans, okay? My 4-year-old is a projector. And it's been so fun to watch because all my other kids are generators and manifesting generators. I've never had a projector before. And I am watching this kid manage everybody. I've gotten to the point where I have to lock the door in the car, the back window, sorry, in the car, because if I don't like lock her window, she will roll down her window at a bus stop and start yelling things at people like, hey, you need to be wearing a helmet, or hey, don't you know smoking is bad for you? You know, she wants to guide people and manage people all the time. At our wedding last week, she was like, it's my wedding and I'm in charge, you know. And so as a projector, you have a lot of wisdom, and you really know, you know, what's right, what people need to do. You, in your family, you're probably watching your whole family knowing, God, if they would just do X, Y, and Z, they would be happier. And if you're a projector who doesn't understand how you operate, you probably also have a life experience of sharing that wisdom that is so inherently part of you, and then having other people look at you and go, who are you? And did I ask you for this? And quit bossing me around, or quit criticizing me, when in fact all you really wanted to do was give them the information that they needed to make their life better, and they didn't get it. So the projector really kind of has an interesting struggle because they have all this wisdom, but in order for them to share this wisdom, they absolutely have to wait to be asked or invited or recognized, which is so flippin' counterintuitive to how we're trained. We are taught to go out and you know, make it happen. And for the projector, that absolutely never works. And the other issue for the projector is that the projector doesn't have the same quality of workforce and life force energy as the other types. So a projector really can't go out and make it happen and then sustain the energy necessary to keep going with it. So a lot of times projectors, particularly if they're trying to act like any of the other types, they hit a wall. Somewhere around 35 to 45, they can hit a wall and physically burn out or emotionally burn out. And they really can really struggle and suffer sometimes with getting themselves back on their feet and going out in the world. I find that a lot of light workers, you know, healers, massage therapists, psychics, intuitives, whatever, a lot of light workers are projectors. And if you think about it, it's a natural place for a projector to be. You know, you have a life purpose of managing and guiding other people. Of course, you're going to go into the light worker realm. And I think that some of the challenges that we see in the light worker realm, the challenges with money, the challenges with energy, challenges with marketing, a lot of those challenges are not really because of the nature of the work we do, but more because of the nature of the energy of a projector. You know, if you're a projector, you can't even market the way other people market. If you go out and try to tell people, this is who I am and this is what I do, and you're not waiting for people to go, who are you and what are you doing? If you're not waiting for that recognition, people aren't going to hear you, or they're not going to value what you have to offer. So, you know, in my practice, I do a lot of work with projectors because it's just a really, it's a difficult configuration sometimes, but a beautiful one. You know, if you're a projector, if you can just remember this one piece, what you have to offer the world is so precious. Wait for the people who get the value of who you are. Wait for those people to find you and ask you, because those will be the people who will value you and pay you and support you and give you everything you need to be successful in the world. So the last...
One second. There's a comment, but it kind of brings up a question. She's talking about her daughter being a manifesting generator, and what she notices that she is a really good manifester. Does it mean does one type is better able to manifest than another, or is speed the thing that is maybe clouding people into thinking that this person manifests a lot more? I'm just curious.
You know, personally, what I have seen and what I believe is that we are all designed to manifest. You know, the law of attraction is a universal phenomenon for all of us. Possibly a manifesting generator will go about it in a way that looks faster to other people, but every single one of us is designed to manifest. No one is here to be broke. No one is here to suffer. No one is here to be in pain. No one is here to be compromising what they do and who they are in any way. And we are all designed to have an intent and have it come into form in some way, shape, or form. It's just that for each of us, the way in which it comes into form will be different according to our energy.
And it almost sounds that part of what I'm hearing, and I don't know if you've ever talked about this, is that they each play a role in our universe, right? Like you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Right? Like it's almost like, well, the generator is like, you know, the one who's gonna get things done, right? Like do the work. And sounds like then the manifester is the one that gets things started. Manifesting generator. Say about that, I don't know, and then projectors seem like they're like a solid rock for our society. Almost feels that way.
Well, I think the way I always look at it is I think about pyramid building. It's the manifestor that said, hey, let's go build a pyramid, and gets the whole thing started. The projector sits in the chair, you know, and says, okay, generators and manifesting generators, you need to move the bricks over here, you know. And then the last type, which is the reflector. You know, the reflector is the type, it's actually, they're a very rare type. They're less than 1% of the population. They are completely open to the energy of the world, meaning they take in and feel the energy of the world deeply. And their role in life is actually to reflect that energy back out. They're kind of karmic mirrors for the rest of us. So in the pyramid building analogy, it's the reflector that's walking around the construction site, sort of reflecting back to the projector, you know, here's how the workers are feeling. If that reflector is happy, then everything is working well on that construction site. If that reflector is struggling or suffering or sad, you know, or in some way having a difficult time, it's a reflection of what's happening on that construction site. So the reflectors in our lives are really reflecting back to us what's going on in our society, what's going on in our communities, what's even going on in our families. My favorite example of a reflector is Michael Jackson. And I think when we look at Michael Jackson from the perspective of, you know, here's a reflection of this community that he's in, you know, here's this guy deeply, you know, entrenched and raised in the entertainment industry, and you see, I think, how disturbed he was, you know, how much pain he endured, and the challenges that he had, you know, living in this earthly form with this kind of energy. And you really look at it from the perspective of he was reflecting the energy around him. It certainly makes me take a step back and go, okay, what is really going on in that industry? Because it really was not healthy, I think, by any shape. It isn't healthy, I think. But and he certainly, I think, paid the price for that.
And so, you know what I'm thinking about too as you're speaking is almost that if we move out of that place of thinking about being individuals only, but rather be thinking about that we're a tribe or a community as a whole, and really start seeing people for the value that they bring to the workplace, our families, society in general, one, will be able to accept other people in a more compassionate way. People will be able to accept themselves, will be able to live more authentically, and we'll start getting the connection that we are a tribe, and we have to pay attention to what this, you know, reflector is what they're undergoing, rather than looking at them as, you know, someone who, you know, could be bringing up things that are very uncomfortable. And I can say that very openly and knowingly because I have a reflector daughter. And I